shall defend
3 feet
our
away,
island,
and I missed.
Yeah.
whatever the cost may be. Let them say, this was their finest hour.
Say something profound.
We're here, and we're about to make history.
All right, Josh. That camera.
Susan. Ooh, I scared myself with that one. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Good But Not Soft podcast. I am returning once again, back from the life in the real world.
Yeah,
He's
we've not been in the real world.
Oh yeah, totally not.
With the past few episodes. as
His
you can
life in the
tell.
world,
These
real
guys
world.
have been on vacation.
Yeah, he says life in the real world. He's been sitting in a hotel room gaming.
Hey, I mean, it's kind of sad though, with all the time I've spent gaming and the lackluster content on my channel.
Hey, what is your channel? Share with the crowd here.
Share with the crowd is KoiWolf2 on the YouTube. You can't find me anywhere else. I don't exist anywhere else.
He's a ghost everywhere else.
Even
but
here,
YouTube.
like if you were to touch him, you'd face through him.
Yeah.
The
Hey.
No,
the headset
that's
on his
just
head
the
is
middle
just
child.
VFX.
I don't exist because I'm the middle child. They're like, oh yeah, he's here.
Ron.
I have no words. I mean, I'm a firstborn. Like, I exist.
I exist.
You are.
Well,
exist.
yeah.
But
Whole world
so yeah,
revolves
it's good to
around
have
me.
Joshua back. It's a whole lot easier recording these with three of us.
True that.
But-
True that.
We don't want to be that personal.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna get deep if it's one-on-one conversation.
Yeah.
We don't do
That or it's just like, what do we say?
Yeah.
Which you totally wouldn't want to have seen, in the episode that'll air before this.
Yeah, I'm glad. Ben here, our founder, visionary, architect. He does a good job editing because we have a lot of moments where we're like, I have several moments where I lose my words.
We're just sitting there like from it, like, what are we gonna say? What was it? Like, I know what I want to say. It just isn't coming out.
So
I want
Today-
to say something. It's
today,
just not
hopefully-
getting translated to my tongue.
right.
Today, hopefully, that won't be a problem.
Oh, not at all. We're gonna be on it.
We actually thought of somewhat what we want to talk about. I mean, all this.
Yeah, we have an idea.
Ad-lived.
Well, for
But-
once, we have an idea.
We do have an idea of a topic. So, hey, that is.
Oh, I just meant ideas in general.
Right.
But I think today we are going to talk about favorite motivational speeches. So we'll start with Joshua. If you'll give us like two of your favorite
I'm never gonna
motivational
go first,
speeches.
unless it's bad. But is this scary to you? Is that why I'm going first? Because you want everyone to go first. That's the only time. That's the only time he's like, yeah, you go first. Watch, make sure everything goes okay. Make sure I'm not gonna die.
I mean, you're
Yeah.
not quoting the motivational speech. You're just telling us which one's your favorite
I
and
know.
kind
I'm
of
just
why.
saying.
Well, if you have quotes, share them.
Quotes. No, honestly, two of my favorite motivational speeches are Ronald Reagan on peace. I think it's like Ronald Reagan's peace speech or something like that is what it's called. And then Winston Churchill. I just think of Willie and I'm like, what? William? What? And then I can't think of his name. Winston Churchill, we shall never surrender, and we shall defend our island speech. Both of those I really like. They've got some pretty cool things in them. And there's probably like some psychological thing, like I saw it when the sunshine was bright and sunny or something. It just makes me happy.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
It was the video that I was watching at the time.
Okay, so Ronald, how about you?
I may take a minute here.
It may take a minute. That's fine.
I have several just really good speeches.
I mean, you can
But what
throw
are
out more
great
than two.
speeches?
If that's all right. Great speeches. Yeah. Well, the first one I'm mentioning here by Jim Rohn, Rohn. I think that's how that's pronounced. Rohan. No. He has a speech on YouTube that was from probably one of his retreats. That's kind of the feel of the recording. It's an older recording. I can't remember the name at the moment. It's escaped me. but it's essentially about becoming better, and it is so powerful, and it's content I think we need in today's age tremendously. But he essentially talks about how we have to adapt and keep going. Like, you have a goal. Okay, have you set those SMART goals? You know, measurable. Are they something specific? Can you keep going? One of the things he talks about is in regards to adaptability. The season changes, and so we have to change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and keep going. He also says you have because the season changes, you have to know what you're doing in the season. He says some seasons you are planting, like you're putting in the seed, you're doing in the work, you're making sure the produce or whatever it is staying alive or getting nourishment. Another season you're harvesting, and then another season is like it's winter, you can't do anything, right? But prepare or whatever the case is. And his speech just struck me like, man, it helped me realize the importance of just everyday things. Just doing whatever it is every single day. And it leads you to that big day where you get that harvest. Mm-hmm. Because I sometimes get caught up on the big, spectacular, and, oh, high school graduation's on May 15th. And that takes my eyes off of the fact that I spent 12 years getting to that high school graduation. And so that speech right there just was like, man, I need to remember the powerful idea and concept of consistency. And then another speech another speech I will share when I remember.
Some of my favorites, I don't know. I have 3 that I couldn't decide between.
Yeah,
but
that's awesome.
Make Your Bed, Admiral McRaven, Commencement Speech, University of Texas, and then a book. And love that. And that was probably one of the first ones that I remember, and like love since the first time I heard it years ago. And then right there with it is, I can't remember what university it was at, a commencement speech done by Denzel Washington. Really like that. And I'm trying to remember what school it was. I can't remember now. But he talks about like putting God first, like, you know, whatever. He talks about like, if you want to do what I do, he's like then, or if he's like, you want to be like me or whatever, he's like, then do what I do. He's like, put God first. And then you have there's a video. It's Inky Johnson, if you know who that is. He was a football player who played college football, really good, Tennessee.
Okay.
And he went for a tackle, and the next day that same night he ended up in the hospital from that tackle. It ended up paralyzing his arm, like his shoulder down in his one arm. And then he had to have emergency surgery because one of his arteries were bleeding internally and in his chest, and yeah, all kinds of stuff. It tore out the nerve roots and everything, so he couldn't, use this arm anymore. But like he said, like they were having a hard time in this game. It was, they expected it to be an easy game, and it ended up not being as easy as I thought. And so he told his teammates, he's like, if it comes near me, he's like, I'm gonna get it, and talk about the ball. And so he was on defense, and the person, was coming in his area. He goes for tackle, and he said, like, when he like went for the tackle, he said he remember being like, thank you, Jesus. He's like, this is exactly what I asked for. And then he tackled him and ended up in a hospital. But so yeah, it was this whole thing. It's so funny. He talks about like his dad was like, he kept like talking about, how good God was through all of this. And his dad was like, if your God's so good, he's like, why are you laying here in a hospital, blah, blah. And he talks about remembering being like, he's like, man, he's like, God's going to spank him. It's like, that's
So
funny
he had me
right there.
listen to it the other day. It's a good speech. It's good.
And you said he passed away?
No, he's just not a football player. He was a football player.
He
Now he does
Gotcha.
I would say he actually goes to like
a lot of like
professional
proteins and
teams,
stuff
right?
and talks.
and
them.
talks.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because once you can't play football anymore, then like what good are you basically?
Yeah.
I guess is like what he was saying. I think like a lot of people suffer with that. Like you take off the jersey and then like what's your point at that after then?
So yeah, he goes around and talks to him. A bunch of like football teams and all kinds of stuff. So that's a pretty neat one too.
Man, you need to send me that speech. That sounds. So he's a believer.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh man. Yeah, send me that speech.
So what
Sounds
was
like
your
powerful stuff.
forgotten speech?
It's still forgotten.
Still forgotten.
It's still forgotten. I have
This is the
I
best
have
speech
random
I'll never know.
right. I have random quotes that have challenged me.
We'll throw some of those out. If you can't, come up with a speech. Man.
So here's another one. Pace Morby. I'm in his sub 2 community, and he said this statement. He actually brought in Cody Sanchez. She's a big business entrepreneur, business buyer also. So we had a Zoom with her last week, and they were talking back and forth. And Pace Morby said, "You don't get to work smart until you've worked hard." And that struck me like dead center, because you always hear the phrase, "Work smarter, not harder. Work smarter, not harder. Work smarter, not harder." And it's one of those phrases, like it's really catchy, and it's like, oh, that's brilliant, but you really don't know what that means, right? Not totally in some ways. And or maybe I should say it like this: it's not really clear on how to get to working smarter and not harder.
I think
sometimes.
most people misinterpret that though.
Yeah.
Because work smarter, not harder. If I say, go move that pile of dirt, and you don't, kick it with your foot, you get a shovel or a tractor. That's smarter.
Yeah, exactly.
Harder is trying to like kick it over, like, fill your pockets up and walk back and forth with pockets full of sand.
Yeah. And he made that statement. You don't get to work smarter until you worked hard, because when it's not until you've done that a few times, putting the dirt in your pocket, that you're like, you know what? There's a better way to do this. Whatever the case, or you get the tools to be able to do something smarter. And so that was a statement that struck me recently. Another statement or phrase is by Alex Hermosi. Or he's probably gonna say I butchered his name. Not that he would ever see this podcast, but he talks about how we need to get in the room with people who are living our dream. And that just stood out to me and blew my mind, because it showed me the power of getting into certain circles of people who are in the army or real estate investing or pushing dents or whatever. Like people actually doing it, because you sit in your room, and if you're like me, you dream and you're like, man, I want to accomplish this, and that. And it's like, okay, how do I do this, and that? And then I realized that there are other people doing this, and that every day. Like, I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to be able to do this in 5 years. They're like doing it in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And that statement just stood out to me to like, hey, if you can get in those rooms, because like you're encouraged, you're set, like your fire keeps getting gas put on it, and it's just like, okay, this is actually possible as opposed to.
Well, I say, and then like
Oh.
you also can pick up tips and tricks and
Yeah.
stuff. Okay,
We're
so
good.
Please stand by.
we are recording now. On
We
the
are
right
live.
audio. This went out, and then we started back up again, and I didn't hit record.
He let us keep going for like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Before he
Yeah, it was a
realized
it was a
we were
good couple
recording.
minutes too.
It was so.
It was a whole thing.
Basically, yeah, this came unplugged, lost power. Yeah, Ron was able to remember what he was trying to, the speeches he was trying to come up with and stuff.
So some of the speeches I thought of were ones by Gandalf in The Lord of the Rings, and how he just encourages Frodo. So with he's just encouraging Frodo. Frodo's like, "Hey, I wish this didn't happen in my time." And Gandalf says, "So do all who live to see such times." But it's not for them to decide. But it is for I lost it. It is that for them to decide what to do with it, and so just powerful thoughts and concepts there. But this is more of a poem that just challenges me. Eric, my brother, introduced it to me. Their uncle. Don't ask any questions. and I've listened to this. It's on YouTube. You could put it in the bag, has some epic music to it, but I'm just gonna read it and just let these words just motivate you. Poetry just has something when it's
very poetic.
dead on. Sorry?
It is very poetic.
Poetry.
Yeah. Now these are the words by Rudyard Kipling, poem called "If." If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good, nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same. If you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves and make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken, and stoop and build them up with worn out tools. If you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings. Never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings, not lose the common touch. If neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything in it, and, which is more, you'll be a man, my son. Powerful.
It's a very good poem.
Powerful. Very poetical.
So this plays into what I was actually going to ask.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Edit that out. That's fine. I was going to ask if there were like any motivational things that you listen to or whatnot. So like for me, I wouldn't necessarily like call it a motivational speech, but I really like Rise and Shine, if you've ever heard that.
I don't think so. No.
It's like a good thing to listen to like on the way to the gym,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
one of
yeah.
those deals. It's kind of it's like a what do they call that? Not cinematic. Like whatever. Like a play, but not.
Okay.
it's one person like reading it, but they have like all the effects like for the background and everything, and like they've got like the music going in the background and whatnot to like help you be motivated.
Yeah.
I forget what they call that, but I like that a lot, and it's like some of the stuff is like a million rivers fan out a million streams fan out before you, like a river delta, all promising the path of least resistance. The only problem is you're heading upstream. And like it's all about like like going the hard way, doing what is hard and everything. So like getting up, going and working out is not easy. That's hard to do. And so it's like it's a battlefield between you, the voices in your head, and the devil on your shoulders. Whatever is like a quote from it roughly. And so like I really like that one. I was gonna ask if there was anything like that y'all listen to, or read, or whatever the case may be. So
I listen to, one of the things I actually listen to is, so I mentioned the Lord of the Rings earlier, and I listened to clips of it. So on YouTube, several people have done this. They take clips of movies, real amazing motivational parts, whatever the case is, and then they put music behind it. And so I have several movies like the Lord of the Rings and Captain America and throughout the Avengers series or the Marvel series, just saying all these things, like I'm I probably won't start quoting them, but so I have several like random quotes from Captain America, like the price of freedom is too high, from Marvel.
Hey, I've got an amazing quote from Star Wars, Book of Boba Fett, that I would totally read to y'all because I have it saved to my phone. Oh, never mind. I just found it. I was gonna say, but I can't find my phone, but I found it. It is Boba Fett talking to Fennec Shan after he, spoiler alert, after he's, after he saves her after she's been shot and everything.
Spoiler alert, it's on an older series.
I mean, if you've never seen it, boy, have you got a lot to do on your Star Wars.
You can skip that series altogether, though.
You can't skip
3 episodes.
You can't skip Book of Mando.
I'll say those 3 episodes. You got to watch the 3 episodes of The Mandalorian if you care about that stuff. Otherwise, the rest of it you can just gloss over.
Okay. I thought I could find it.
You could probably search it.
I probably could. Oh, here it is. Boba Fett says, "I'll cut you in on the success and protect you." Fennec Shan says, "Living with Tuskens made you soft." Boba Fett responds, "No, it's made me strong. You can only get so far without a tribe." She's like, it made you soft, you care about people, blah, blah, blah. That's not who you are.
Man.
He's like, no, it made me strong.
Like, that is a good but not soft quote right there.
Made him so strong he can't fight, he can't do anything, and he just has to rely on a hitman or woman to save him.
I know details.
That is
so strong.
No, that's a good quote right there.
A good quote. It just didn't fit his actual character from the show.
That's a good quote right there. Yeah, and that connects to what I shared earlier with Alex Hormozzi, and how he said, get in the room of people living your dream. Like, part of that is like running with those people and like, hey, teach me. You talk about getting tips and stuff. It's like, man, the right people can kill your dream. The right people kill your dream, but the right people can make you fly. And so going back to the motivational stuff, I listen to different things on YouTube that just has real powerful quotes, music in the background, and that's just about what comes to mind.
I say I just find random stuff, but none of it's coming. I can't think of anything in particular right now.
Yeah.
It's just it'd be like motivational videos if I'm wanting to listen to that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I need to listen. Hearing President Reagan's kind of that clip you played before our podcast here about his talk on peace made me want to go back and listen to things like that from our presidents, just because
I want to say, I mean,
powerful.
There's a lot of like that was from the Cold War. The speech that I like by Winston Churchill, that's, you know, obviously World War II.
I say into the Cold War.
Like,
or after. I don't remember when that one was.
There's, you know, there's a lot of potential in those times. You've got the most potential for the light to shine in the darkness. Like
Exactly. And so, I need to just circle back. One of the things I want to do is visit presidential libraries.
Yeah.
John Maxwell, he's a big leadership guru guy and leader himself, and he talks about how every time he goes to a different state or visit, he would go to the presidential library. And I think he's visited all the presidential libraries we have. And he just talks about just being in that place. Like, each of our leaders served in a time where there was some measure of difficulty. Like, some had more difficulty than others, like a world war was happening. And others, you know, like building a country from scratch in some ways. And then others, you know, whatever difficulty they face. And so just being in those places where, like, okay, how did they lead during this time? Some led horrible, and that's hindsight, right? 2020. And then some were like, man, I forgot the phrase.
Nailed it, Ron.
Have I ever told you about my grandpappy old reliable?
Oh, man.
Well,
you rose up to the task, I guess. Yeah. Anyways.
Oh, well, I think with that, we will probably leave off here. Tell us what some of your favorite motivational, you know, what gets you up and going, you know, whether it be like, do you have motivational video you love, or some speech, or, you know, poems?
We'll make him watch all of them. Not really.
I mean, drop the link.
But let us know down in the comments. And
speaking of the comments, comment down below how much I should stare at y'all people, because I don't know. Like, should I be over here when I talk to him? Should I look at this camera?
Yeah,
should I look
actually...
at y'all? Like, tell me. What makes you uncomfortable? Is it uncomfortable for this right now? Just comment down below if you'd like.
We got this person to look at, this person, and then we got 2 camera angles. So that's 4.
It's very unnatural to talk to them like this, but I feel like that's much more engaging for the audience. So maybe, I don't know. Let me know.
All right. Well, thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one. All right. Josh, before we go, what's your good advice?
My good advice. Get motivated and do something with it. All the motivational speeches mean nothing if you don't do anything with it.
Awesome.